Make your next move with American Express Business Platinum. You'll get 5 times membership rewards points on flights and prepaid hotels booked on AmexTravel.com. Plus, enjoy access to the American Express Global Lounge Collection. And with the welcome offer of 150,000 points, your business can soar to all new heights. Terms apply. Learn more at americanexpress.com/business-platinum. Amex Business Platinum. Built for business by American Express.
This episode is brought to you by Amazon. Sometimes the most painful part of getting sick is the getting better part. Waiting on hold for an appointment, sitting in crowded waiting rooms, standing in line at the pharmacy, that's painful. Amazon One Medical and Amazon Pharmacy remove those painful parts of getting better with things like 24/7 virtual visits and prescriptions delivered to your door. Thanks to Amazon Pharmacy and Amazon One Medical, healthcare just got less painful.
It's nice to think of aliens coming down and not wanting to kill us and actually just wanting to be buddies with us.
And
nice.
the national stereotypes in this film are also quite, really sadly, actually quite
communists
believable.
kind of banding together.
Yeah, we're just going to shoot them out the sky. That's the big plan. Anyone got anything else?
Hey everybody, welcome to episode 97 of Flixwatcher podcast.
Joining us today in the Flixwatcher studio, we have Stephanie.
Holla.
Ems.
Hello.
And as always, Kobe.
Hello.
And we're reviewing the 2016 film Arrival.
And if you want to hear more about us or read more about us online, come to our website, flixwatcher.tv, visit us and join in the banter with us on Twitter at FlixWatcherPod, and head over to iTunes, subscribe to us, review us, and share with your friends.
There will be spoilers and bad language. You have been warned. Hello and welcome to this episode of Flixwatcher podcast. In the studio today, we have 2 of the 3 of the Mighty Foof girls. If you would like to say hello to our listeners and tell them about the podcast that you do.
Hi everyone, I am Stephanie from the Mighty Foof. If you want to find out more about the Mighty Foof, we're a podcast. We're straight talking, female led, and we tackle millennial issues, but with a bit of humour, with a bit of realism, and we're just about creating a community of like-minded but outspoken individuals.
Fantastic. And how often do you guys? How long have you been? I can't speak.
It's the food thing that threw you off.
Yeah, it's the vodka. We've been given vodka today. As we're recording, it's Christmas, and there's a Christmas party literally millimeters away from where we're recording, guys, which is a challenge.
The vodka strayed its way into the room.
It has done, yeah. How long have you guys been going for?
We're up to about, is it 6 months, 9 months? With this episode...
Somebody told us the other day, didn't they? They were like, well, if you've done 12 episodes, then it's been 6 months.
6 months.
Oh, they did maths.
Someone who did some maths.
Someone did maths.
It's not what we do. But
neither of us.
It goes out every other Thursday.
Sure.
And we are just about to do our Christmas special, which will be episode 11 or 12, I think, by now.
Yeah. Which we should definitely know what
we should
episode
definitely
number
know,
is.
especially as we were told that most podcasts don't make it past episode 14. So we've now got this goal in our head.
Goal.
Yeah.
So if you can make it to Valentine's Day,
then we're okay.
Then you're okay.
And then we just stop.
Then we're just going to quit.
Yeah, just quit.
We made it to 16. We made it to 16.
Statistics, yes.
We're the outliers.
Yeah.
Guys, it was Stephanie. You chose this film, which is Arrival.
I did.
Denis Villeneuve 2016 film. Can you tell us why you chose this film and give us a 2-minute synopsis?
Okay, so I chose this film. Should I start with why I chose it, or should I start with a synopsis?
Whichever works for.
I'm going to go
yourself.
synopsis.
Sure.
I'm going to go synopsis first. Okay, so
The timer has started.
Arrival is the story of a language professor who finds herself employed by the US military when 12 mysterious UFOs appear at different points around the globe, sort of completely nonsensically. As you would imagine, it sends the world into sheer panic. She is pulled in by the military to kind of work out what the aliens are saying, pretty much, and ends up striking up this really incredible relationship with the aliens in question, and also with an experimental physicist who's sent to try and work out stuff about the gravity to do with these aliens, where they've come from, all that kind of thing. Along the way, there's lots of questions about humanity and why the aliens might be there, what it says about us as human beings, how we deal with them. It's really like a philosophical film. it tells the story of her journey of teaching language or understanding this universal language that humans and aliens can communicate with each other. Obviously, the aliens leave in the end. There's no big apocalypse. I'm really sorry, everybody. But they do leave behind a gift with the Amy Adams character, Louise Banks.
Well, let's talk about that as we talk about the film.
Yeah,
because this
no
is
spoilers.
I guess it's one of the most contentious issues. This kind of gift. Mm-hmm. So why did you choose? Why did you choose it for us?
Well, I was actually given it as a DVD when it first came out by my father-in-law, and I discarded it instantly. Like, sci-fi. I hate sci-fi films. Absolutely hate sci-fi films. I studied classical lit, so if it's not loosely based on a Jane Austen film, I can be turned off really quickly. But I watched it, and the reason why I really wanted to talk about it today is that it's an alien film where the aliens are not crap. They're not green, they're not gooey, and they don't have really long, weird fingers. So for people who don't like sci-fi films or want a bit of philosophy with their sci-fi, this is the one.
I think that a lot of sci-fi, people who probably like sci-fi would say a lot of the films you probably think are sci-fi, just not.
Yeah, true, I guess so.
But this is like
Yeah.
stone cold sci-fi, but it's got a lot of sci-fi has a lot of other stuff like built in and packed into it, which makes
It's kind of part of the sort of new wave of sci-fi, like Interstellar is one of them, and sort of kind of like maybe Under the Skin is a little bit like a sci-fi as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Annihilation.
And also taking on like new wave horror, like Get Out and Quiet Place. They're like, it's not just about scaring people; it's about building a story around it. And
there is also a lot of terrible sci-fi.
Absolutely.
There's films that give sci-fi a bad name.
Yeah.
This is a good alien film. Let's put it in that category.
Sure. And I think let's start off with the start of this. It's kind of set out almost like the start of Up, isn't it?
Haven't watched that.
You haven't watched Up?
It's a great film.
Sorry, I'm
sorry.
In what way?
In the way you see you see Amy Adams,
the story.
The story of her with her daughter, and her daughter's getting older, and then she seems to have developed some kind of chronic disease, looks like leukemia or cancer, and then she dies away before you then see
the film really starts.
Before the film even starts. So already it puts you in this kind of like odd position of like, oh shit, she's had a hard life starting out this film, and now she's been pulled on to translate for these aliens. So it's
that's what's confusing, isn't it? You think it's the beginning.
Interesting position. You think it's the start.
Yeah. That's why I didn't go into too much about the
Sure.
gift yet, because that's obviously, you then realise at the end of the film that's the gift that she's been given.
Ems, what are your thoughts on this?
I really liked it. I liked it because it was like a female lead, and the reason she's brilliant is because she's intelligent as how and saves the world. That's what I liked. But she wasn't sexy, inverted comment, and that's what I really liked. But the fact that she was a female lead that was just incredibly intelligent, that was her thing, and that's
Linguists are hot.
And the little alien things are really cute. They're like little
Cute.
Yeah, they were a bit like jellyfish. I thought they were like.
I thought they looked like trees.
I think Kobe's just doing some research to see Amy Adams was robbed, I think was what you were searching for.
Yeah, she didn't get a nomination for this.
A lot of people feel she should have got nominated, but when people say she should have got nominated, I always like to say, well, who should have been replaced? No one ever says like, I don't know who else.
These two people.
Yeah, exactly. But let's carry. Amy Adams
is brilliant.
In
pretty much everything she does.
Batman vs Superman, Dawn of Justice.
Oh, I forget films like that exist. I mean, I bet she's brilliant in it.
She's the best. She was the best thing in like the first Superman Returns, whatever nonsense that's called, as Lois Lane. She's the best version of Lois Lane I've seen on screen. Even better than Terry Hatcher. But but she's generally awesome in films that she takes part in.
What I like about her is that every time she does a film, you don't immediately think of a previous film she's been in. So she was in Enchanted. Is it Enchanted?
Yeah, she's in Enchanted. She's really insipid in that as well.
And yet you never, when you watch Arrival, I never thought, oh, doesn't she look different? It was like a different actress, which I think is quite rare, especially with like very, very famous like actors.
How are you with sci-fi generally, Ems? Would you class this as like sci-fi?
I am a huge sci-fi buff.
Okay.
No, I'm not at all.
Okay.
No, I'm not.
I was quite happy to go along with that. What normally puts you off sci-fi, and is it something that Stephanie is saying that there's enough that gives it a bad name?
No, I think it's more that there are other films. For me, as we said before, film watching for me is just something I do that I can switch off. I put a film on that doesn't necessarily have great reviews because I don't have to commit too much to the full viewing pleasure. However, my other half is a massive film fan, so quite often he was the reason why we watched this one, and really I was like, oh, I actually quite enjoyed this, and a few times had to shush him. Shh, we're watching.
I think it's good. It is sci-fi, definitely, but there's so much more to it. My favorite scene in the film isn't anything to do with the aliens or this. Well, there's two favorite shots. One is when they first go inside the alien, kind of looks like a giant dark contact lens, doesn't it? When they go inside the space, it looks like they go inside the spaceship, and then they do that kind of weird gravity jump.
Yep.
And it's all
Jeremy Renner falls over, doesn't he?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's the amount of times I've seen that, though. It's just like I can't understand in my head how it works, but it's not like a super smashing great special effects thing, but they just do it so nicely and perfectly. It's just like, wow. I can't help.
I believe that.
Yeah, and he just precedes it by throwing up that glow stick, doesn't he?
Yeah,
He just throws it up, and it lands on the floor with what becomes the floor, and that just to me is like, I don't understand that. But the second favourite scene is when she's explaining about how you break up language into what is your purpose on Earth, and she breaks up. If you're asking a question, you need to understand that
what a question is.
Yeah, what a question is, and if they understand what you're doing. And Forrest Whitaker's just at the end like, okay, as you were, yes, you know better because you are the better person.
Oh shit, you might be a linguist.
Yeah. Damn. So yeah, there's the sci-fi bit, but there's also the bit that's not necessarily sci-fi. It's just like good filmmaking aspect, which is just undeniably awesome in it. But yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the reasons why I liked it so much for a sci-fi film is that she's a quiet heroine, which I really like. It's not loud and shouty, and she doesn't go in there with guns shooting the aliens, and that's how she saves the day. She saves the day through something that I absolutely love, which is words. And that's so cool. Yeah, it's relatable, but also she's just so incredibly amazing at what she's doing that you're totally in awe of the fact that somebody could do that. And I like the sass that she gives Forrest Whitaker right at the beginning when he comes to try and recruit her. And he says, oh, yeah, we really want to recruit you because you made really quick work of that Farsi translation that we asked you to do. And she's like, yeah, and you made quick work of those insurgents. Like, damn!
Get out.
Go on, girl.
And she stood her ground all the way through, which is what you would do.
Totally.
And like,
but quietly.
Yeah, well, not... But she's just like, I can't transcribe that. I can't translate that because I need to see it happening. Yeah, but you translate that Farsi. Yeah, but I can speak Farsi. I can't speak alien.
Yeah, doofus.
I don't even know what they look like. You can't even tell me how many people are speaking at the same time. And each time it just makes salient points which cut Forrest down and everyone else around down. And it's just magnificently done. I've looked up the 89th Academy Awards to see who was nominated instead of Amy Adams. Emma Stone, this is La La Land's year. Emma Stone, Isabelle Huppert for Elle, Ruth Negga for Loving, Natalie Portman for Jackie, and Meryl Streep for Florence Foster Jenkins. So...
I mean, I haven't seen all of those films, but instantly I would cut all of them and just nominate.
I think they've all got acclaim.
I'd cut Natalie Portman because I didn't like Jackie.
I really liked
Sorry,
her.
Natalie.
But she is, well, Jackie Kennedy is obviously, she's a real person.
Yes.
But known by millions of people in America. So I think unless she properly screwed it up, I'd be surprised if that wasn't in there.
I mean, cut Meryl because she's already won millions anyway. She doesn't need another one.
Yeah, but that's not where you cut it, is it?
I also didn't like La La Land, but I can't blame that on Emma Stone.
I would cut Emma Stone from that list.
I mean, she's been better in other films.
Yeah, exactly. So I'd cut Emma Stone from that list.
Yeah.
I don't think it's either of their best films. The two main characters in that. Who's the other one? Ryan Gosling. I don't think either of them are incredible in that film.
How dare you?
And it's not Damien Chazelle's best film either.
It's not, no.
So, yeah, Emma Stone replaced her for Amy Adams. Yeah.
So we still love you, Emma Stone. You're a goddess.
Yes.
Got your back, Amy.
So along the way of the film, you see this relationship growing between Jeremy Renner and Amy Adams. What were your thoughts? What were your thoughts on the film generally, H? And then this relationship?
I missed this at the cinema, and it still hurts me a little bit. And this is the first time that I'd seen it, and
it's just like you you out of spite you hadn't watched it until you were forced to?
No, I didn't know it was, or it had literally just arrived.
Oh.
Yeah. It's only just come to Netflix.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Good shout,
I would have
guys.
seen it before. So I was very excited to watch it. And it's just a really understated film.
Mm-hmm.
But with its understatement, it's really beautiful and really believable, other than the romance of them, which is the only thing in this film that I didn't believe. I believe the aliens completely.
Sure.
But she's just not interested in him. She's just more interested in the words and the aliens than him. But I hope this is Jeremy Renner anyway, is unfortunately...
Not a fan?
Well...
Not a fan of Hawkeye?
He's just kind of there, isn't he? I mean, bless him. He tries hard. Like he always tries hard.
Isn't he Hurt Locker?
Yeah,
He's
Hurt
really
Locker.
good in that though. I don't think the director dedicated that much time to
He
how
looks
their
a little bit
relationship was
lost
going
in
to
it.
blossom. Yeah, it's
And
very her focused.
It is, and because her performance is so amazing, he just doesn't have... He doesn't even come close to her. He's just in the background all the time.
Yeah, and there's not a
All the
big
way
enough
through.
deal, I don't think, made about the fact that he's an experimental physicist, which is an incredible career.
He's just a bit bumbly.
Yeah, he just doesn't really do a lot, does he? He
Just
just
fall over and...
he throws up in a bin. Actually, that's quite dramatic.
I think that's quite a nice element to it. I think it was nice that he was secondary to her. I thought that made for me, it really made the watching. It was nice that she could just be awesome without needing to also be equally awesome with another guy who was as good as she was. And that their relationship, their blossoming romance was not lovey-dovey, soppy, in your face, you know, what we consider very filmy sort of love.
Falling into each other's arms
it was
kind of thing.
Quite pragmatic and quite everyday. And that's what I believed it. I believed it in the sense that she is who she is. And
It's an intellectual romance, isn't it? It's not that on-screen frisson.
I really like the way he was sidelined, actually. I really like, because when they first meet on the plane, you can see he's a bit cocky. He's like, no, we don't need linguistics. I'm a physicist. I can sort this shit out.
Yeah.
And then quickly he was like, oh, or the film decided, oh, we actually don't need you. I think a lot of people seeing this film for the first time might think, well, why would you have a linguist? Why would they be like one of the first people you contact? Because I think you would have had like physicists, chemists, like trying to work out all the angles and where they come from and what kind of atmosphere there might be. But linguist for me would never be. If someone said to you, who would be in a team of someone who would be in a team that you send to contact with aliens? Would you think a linguist?
They'd know that it was because the aliens had been trying to communicate there, wasn't it?
Right.
So they'd obviously seen these
These things.
shape swirly stuff before and gone.
No, that was the first time when she wrote
Hello on the board.
Yeah.
That was the
Oh,
first
human,
time.
okay.
Yeah.
That's
So
the
they
first
haven't
time
seen
I
that
played
before then?
But they'd heard noises.
Right, that was it.
Yeah.
So they knew they were
There's
trying
something.
to communicate something.
But when we talk about sci-fi films and contacting aliens, we never think about.
I'm just bring the military and shoot them down.
Yeah, well, there's
Which is
there's army
attempted.
people, there's
Yeah,
army
that's
people, and there's like
attempted.
science people, but you never hear about linguist people, which I think is a great. It's like, of course, you want to try and contact with them. They're not going to, and I think we always expect them to speak English in sci-fi films, don't we? They've come here, they've studied English by the BBC, and they know how to communicate with us straight away.
Yeah, yeah.
But they've come here and they don't know, and that's a different concept as well.
Totally.
I wouldn't expect aliens to speak English.
But in sci-fi films, they do.
Not the good ones, though.
I
They
think
just
all of them.
gurgle, don't they? They just sort of gurgle.
Well, you always get people saying, "Take like Mars Attacks, take me to." They can speak English, like when they can
But
land.
that's silly.
I think there's a good portion of sci-fi films where there are aliens where they can either don't say anything, like Predator, for example, or Aliens. But the ones where they do speak, they can speak English, and they just.
The Day the Earth Stood Still, they don't speak English in that.
What language do they speak? Anything? I've not seen that.
It's Klaatu thingy, that one. Remember that one?
Not
It's-
Klingon.
Yeah, it's not English.
Not English.
I think it's really clever because if you have ever studied linguistics, a lot of the stuff that Amy Adams talks about, they've done their research properly. It's a non-linear language,
Yeah.
which is just insane. The fact that there's no left to right, right to left,
Yeah.
all of that kind of stuff. They have really gone and researched it, as well as they've thought about how can we make these aliens not like any aliens we've ever seen before. Is how can we talk about a language that could be real,
Yeah.
but isn't, but is good enough to be believable for the film, which it totally is.
But there's so many different types of languages as well. There's a few whereby they don't have a left or right. They just orientate by the compass. So they'll say your northmost hand is like bleeding.
Yeah, where's that?
I can't remember.
I've read that recently.
But I love that shit where some places they don't have left or right. It's just like we know where we are orientated on the world. So by the way, dude, your east hand. Oh no, it's your west hand. By the way, is
so
bleeding.
cool.
Do you know what I mean? And that's why a lot of the stuff goes into this, where there's just different types of languages that people don't understand who speak Romance languages or Germanic languages. And I think that's really cool in this. And the way that the language, when it's written, there's nothing like I've seen. No kind of
it's so cleverly
linear
done.
script and then circular, and they put it together to make one sentence in this kind of round. I think it's all how they put it together is amazing. I think that's like 90% of how this film is great.
How it's explained is the only thing that I have a little bit of an issue with. So
The language.
Yeah, it's Jeremy just talking over some shots. And I'm
why
just
is it
like,
Jeremy's
why
now?
are you doing that?
Why is it
This
his
is not your
narration?
thing to explain. You are not the linguist. I want that whiteboard scene again in more detail with Amy Adams, please. No, yeah, when Jeremy's voice just comes over. And it's obviously meant to indicate the passing of time, but it just irritated me. Sorry, Jeremy.
I've worked it out. It means it's one of 12.
Oh, okay, you have the breakthrough, fine.
He wouldn't work it out though.
We possibly would do. Like nerdy physicists
Dunno.
love like ratios and the Fibonacci. Because that was the first thing he said, is like, what about the Fibonacci number?
Yeah, what?
What about it?
One thing that did make me laugh, I'm a massive Big Bang Theory fan. And when she goes over to that whiteboard and starts wiping out some of his equations, he's going, no, in the corner.
Yeah.
It just totally...
Not the top bit.
Not the top bit. I was like, yeah, totally. That is definitely what an
Take out the
experimental
top bit.
physicist would do. Even though I know nothing about them.
What did you guys make of the... Did you hear the score that much when you listened to it?
I Spotified it because I was like, what is this music?
It's Jóhann Jóhannsson.
Yeah.
I went and looked at him. Oh, it's incredible, isn't it? It's so good. I've wrote so many notes on it because it adds so much to the film without any of that stupid, jumpy percussion that really annoys me about alien-y films. It's the best bit is, the scene you were talking about earlier when they first start going up into the spaceship.
Yeah.
And it's almost Jaws-like, the tension that it brings as they're slowly moving up. That's the best score in the whole film.
It is fantastic. I was watching this on my iPad and I had my headphones on it. First time I saw it was in the cinema, so I was like, I can take it down a
Rub
notch.
it in.
Salt in the wound.
On the impact screen in Leicester Square, it's a big screen, the second biggest.
All right.
Just a notch below IMAX.
Tried.
And so the sound then was like incredible in the cinema. It was like, fuck. But it was really great and to hear it with the headphones as well. So this has been added to my soundtracks I can listen to whilst working.
I was thinking that when I was watching it, I was like, oh, this is going and then in the list.
It is. And Jóhann Jóhannsson
He's done quite a few, hasn't he?
Yeah, he died early this year.
Really?
Yeah, he died February, as we record this, February 2018. And he was one of the people when he died. A lot of people were outpouring about it, but his films, Arrival, Sicario, Theory of Everything, which has got a great soundtrack. So he was like in his ascendance, like really just starting to crack into what he was doing. So it's such a shame that he's kind of been cut down so early, but he's in this, it's fantastic.
Yeah, it's absolutely awesome.
Right. Should we talk about The Thing?
The thing.
So we should point out now that if you haven't seen Arrival and you have any kind of inclination, which you should do because it's great, then you should stop listening now.
Big fat spoiler.
Yeah. Talk about The Thing, Stephanie.
So the gift that we wanted to talk about is the best metaphor I have seen in a film for a really, really long time. As the film starts, you're actually brought in to what you think is Louise Banks, which is Amy Adams' character, you think is her life so far.
Yeah.
As you progress through the film, and particularly sort of about 3/4 of the way through, you realise that actually these little flashbacks, as you think they are throughout the film, are flash forwards. And the Louise character, she's been given the skill of looking into the future, which becomes a really conflictual issue because she knows that she's going to have a child with Jeremy Renner's character and this child isn't going to live for very long. And it actually is a thing that splits them up. She explains this to the child in one of her flash forwards, that she knew that the child was going to die, but decided to have a baby with him anyway. What the amazing thing about this and the way that the film is filmed is the film is non-linear, and then there's this huge focus on the language of the aliens being non-linear.
Yeah.
And their perception of time as the aliens perceive it is they can look forward, they can look back, they are coming to humanity to give them the same gift, but yet she's the only person that ends up with it. It's just very cleverly done.
It was a bit of a gut punch, and I know some people haven't taken to it that well.
Really?
Yeah. But
in what way?
They didn't like they're like, how does that make sense? Kind of way.
What the gift?
Like
or
the kind of the going forward, like seeing into the future, and like I think some people take against the having the baby, even though they know she's going to die. Some people take away, don't like the fact that it's kind of embedded into the film in a way that kind of doesn't follow and make sense. But I'm not one of them. I think it's the first time I've seen anything played out like this. And given a lot of nonsense you see in other films, it's completely within the realms of other films you can see. But one of my favorite ways I like that it plays out is when she talks to General Shang.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
It's really good.
Tell me what my wife's last words were, isn't it?
And that's just like, fuck. And that's when she realizes she can see into the future. And that's when she realizes what's happening. Those memories that she's having, which she can't connect with, are the future that's going to happen. And then we get the final reveal later on that it's Jeremy Renner.
Yeah.
It's like, motherfucker. Okay, good.
It's when when he's picking her up to put her in the car and she's all delirious because she's just had one of her little flash forwards, and she goes, just figured out why my husband left me. And he goes, oh, you were married?
Yeah.
Because it doesn't make any sense to him, because obviously you would think it was in the past, not the future.
What are your thoughts on it, Ems? You've been a bit quiet recently.
Yeah, I really liked it too. I did really like it. I did really like it. For me, the main focus, as I said, was the super cute aliens and how awesome she was.
I'm not sure about this cute aliens thing.
Yeah, I don't think they were cute.
You don't think they were cute?
I was not uncomfortable with them, but
Yeah, you didn't think they were scary, but they weren't like predator aliens, but
I thought they were really
cuteness.
cute, and I also thought...
Was it Abbott or Costello, which was the cutest one?
I can't choose.
Costello's
I don't
got my
pick favourites. And you know, when the spoiler explosion happens and one of the aliens is no longer with us anymore, that bit really got me. I cried, obviously.
Did that kill one of the aliens?
yeah, it
Yeah.
did. When she goes into the spaceship, the really white scene where she's in there in the funny
By herself,
atmosphere.
yeah.
She's talking to Costello.
Right.
And he says, what's the other one called?
Abbott.
He says that Abbott is in death zone.
Yeah.
Yeah, Abbott is in death
End
zone.
zone or something. Yeah.
He's killed by those
By that
stupid
explosion. By that explosion.
jarheads.
So I'm weeping like a baby. I didn't have very much of a chance to think about the metaphors behind the language and the scenes and stuff. But yeah, I was in too deep at that point.
You're committed to your love of the new aliens in your life.
I was like, they're going to save the world together. Also, really want to know what the human race helps with. Like, is there going to be an Arrival 2?
Is there a sequel? Yeah.
I want to know what is it?
But that's a nice way to finish films, I think. I don't think you need to wrap
Open-ended.
things up so nicely. Helen, were you aware of this kind of twist kind of thing happening? Did people tell you about it before?
No one told me about it, but I did kind of get the inkling when it was like, this is in the... I kind of sort of felt it coming. I was like, okay. It's kind of like, in Inception.
Yeah.
It was kind of a little bit...
Inception-y.
Yeah.
Inception-y.
So I really like that, but I did get a little bit of like, the baby is in the future.
Yeah.
This is not flashback. This is the story.
It's ingrained
yet to
in the
come.
story, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
but
so
I think
strange that you tweaked it. That's clever.
Not. It wasn't a big surprise.
No, I don't think it was. I think the way the film pans out is like, I think that's maybe, I didn't know.
But it didn't take anything away from the enjoyment of it, and I didn't go into it from the start. I wasn't like, oh, that's clearly happening in the future. It was as the film went on, I was a bit like, okay, because just how when she has these moments and the effect that it has on her is not one of remembrance. It's, yeah.
Yeah. I thought, so it kind of manifested differently to me. When it was happening, I thought, the first kind of, it plays out like up and you think, oh, she's lost a baby.
Yeah.
She's split with her husband.
Yeah.
This is a conventional start to the film that's going to set her
Yeah.
tonality for the film. And as those flashbacks, flash forwards happen more, I thought, actually, these are in the future, but I didn't think sometimes she didn't seem to register with them. So I thought this was just the film telling us that this is what's going to happen. And I did guess it was Jeremy Renner was the father, but I didn't realise up until quite late on that she was fully aware of these flash forwards. And it was, I think when she said, I think I know why my husband left me, that's when I was like, oh, she's like
She's figured it out.
She knows what's going on, but she doesn't understand what's going on until the alien said, I've given you this gift, or you've got this gift now. And then with that General Shang thing, that's when it all kind of went, motherfucker. That's when it all kind of, that's what I liked about it, because there's stuff happening. And when you rewatch the film and you start twigging,
That's where kind of like the pace really changes then as well, which is really nice. It kind of shifts that little bit.
I think on first watch, I kind of thought that what was going on was that she'd had this awful grief, and that's why she had this kind of, I don't care, I'll go in a spaceship attitude, like what's there left for me?
Okay.
And that I thought the experience of going through this teaching language to something that didn't understand her language was reminding her of like teaching her child how to speak. And I thought that's why it was bringing it up, kind of like buried memories. And it wasn't until much later on actually that I realised that it was flash forwards, not flashbacks. I just thought it was, unearthing stuff in her.
And film obviously sets out to do that because it does put that conventional start at the end.
It's what it wants you to think, isn't it?
Because it would have been a difference. I don't know how it would have played out if, I'm sure there's a version of the film where there isn't that at the start and you're just kind of confused by these scenes of her with a kid.
It could still work.
Would it have the same confusion or impact?
No, it needs to at least make you think that this has already happened.
It also, I think it needed that to build on her relationship with him and her daughter in order for us halfway through the film, when we twig that she's seeing the future, for us to then at that point realise that she makes the decision to continue a relationship with him despite knowing what the outcome is going to be.
Yeah.
So I think they have to build that mother relationship really early on in order for us to feel emotional about that decision, about her deciding that that's what she's going to do.
You were so worried about coming here. You said, I'm not a film fan, I don't watch films. But that's like, what's wrong with that? That was a perfect explanation of it.
I copied it off Stephanie's notes earlier.
Did you?
No, I didn't.
I am
You
reading
can read
the
upside down.
Wikipedia right now.
That is completely true. Actually, I hadn't thought about that. That's an absolute...
You have to really believe in her.
Yeah.
And it's not just through her performance, which is brilliant, but it's also, the setup from the start. Like the moment we meet her, we're already on her side.
Yeah.
Definitely. And I think as well, as you were saying, Ali, about sci-fi films, I think for me, one of the big reasons I don't watch sci-fi films is because half of the time the plot is so unbelievable. And I like films, I think this could happen. This could happen. And I think this film in particular, and how soft it is with the plot, it is believable. Like I found myself going to bed thinking, but that could happen. Like, it's nice to think of aliens coming down and not wanting to kill us and actually just wanting to be buddies with us.
And
which is quite nice.
the national stereotypes in this film are also quite, really sadly, actually
The
quite
communists
believable.
kind of banding together.
We're just going to shoot them out the sky. That's the big plan. Anyone got anything else?
I think should we head to the scores,
Yeah,
Helen?
I was just going to say, obviously he followed it up, Villeneuve, with Blade Runner.
Yeah.
Which I could kind of see elements of that a little bit in it, but made Blade Runner even more of a disappointment a little
For
bit.
you?
Yeah, I think so, because this just shits all over it, doesn't it?
I think it's a more interesting film. Blade Runner's, for me, I was never a fan of the first one anyway, so I was predisposed not to like.
It's a little bit snoozy.
Yeah. But I can fully understand why people love it as their favourite ever film. But this is me, as someone who doesn't like Lord of the Rings and doesn't like E.T. So...
I'm sorry.
I know.
I'm sorry, what?
We didn't know this before we agreed to come
Oh,
here.
dear.
You've signed the contracts now, you've fully paid up. But this is me just saying I understand why people like films, and Blade Runner left me a bit cold. But let's talk about Arrival. And let's head to the scores.
Are we arriving at the scores?
We're arriving at the scores.
We haven't done enough jokes like that.
We haven't. You can pen them all and say them all. Do you want...
The last thing you want to hear when you need your auto insurance most is a robot with countless irrelevant menu options. Which is why with USAA Auto Insurance, you'll get great service that is easy and reliable, all at the touch of a button. Get a quote today. Restrictions apply.
So the spreadsheet of dreams, and Stephanie, we will start with you with the recommendability. They're all out of 5, and you can have decimal places if you would like.
Thank you very much. So recommendability, I'm going to go with 4.5, and I've only dropped it by 0.5 because on looking at some reviews online, I realised that I feel like this is quite a nerdy film, and there are some people that because it's not very shooty didn't like it. Mm-hmm. So that's why I've dropped it by half a point.
There's a whole explosion in there.
So, but there's just one.
It's not enough.
There's just one. Have you seen War of the Worlds?
There's not enough blood and gore.
Exactly that. No one's face got sucked off. But for some people, an alien film is not an alien film unless someone's getting, hurt.
Don't say it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you know what I was going to say.
Ems.
In saying that, Alien is kind of a little bit similar in that the lead is a female and there's quite little action in it, and it's quite intelligent. So when I was watching this, it did make me think of Alien a little bit, in the good way.
Alien is not as enjoyable to watch though because it's too scary.
It's just scary.
So it's not one I'm likely to watch anytime after maybe 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So I've got enough time.
Chocolate.
Yeah, so with all the curtains open, the lights on.
And at least 5 people present.
That's an interesting point with Alien because Ripley was written as a guy.
Yeah.
I don't know the history of Arrival, whether Amy Adams' character, Louise Banks, was written as a guy beforehand. But I think that's just testament to there's so many times in film where it doesn't matter what the person looks like, black, white, disabled, male, female, they can just be the person that's in that role. And we've talked about Amy Adams being awesome, but not necessarily in the fact that she's a woman being awesome. It's just like she's awesome in this film. She's an awesome linguist. And I think there needs to be more films like that, which is just like, you're the best person for the job.
Yeah.
Do it.
I don't need to mention your sort of minority segment. You just are incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like they didn't feel the need to dress her in skin tight clothes and put loads of makeup on her and have her shooting guns, and
there was no damselly passing away, I just must faint with the stress and the emotion of the moment.
It was all just like
cargo pants.
Yes.
Yeah.
Big fan of cargo pants.
Also, she doesn't vom.
She doesn't vom,
She
no.
doesn't vom.
Badass
I was quite
bitch.
concerned about the canary that they had.
Oh, so my other half sat there and he was like, babe, what are they doing with that bird in there? I was like, well, look at everybody else in the room. They've all got oxygen masks on. Do you not know about Big Pit?
Big Pit?
Do you not know about Big Pit?
I've not heard the term Big Pit. Do you just mean in a...
It's a famous mine in Wales.
Okay.
Are you Welsh?
I went to university in Wales.
Okay.
Oh, which one?
Cardiff.
Oh.
The one and only. Yeah, but Big Pit is a very large pit, and there's lots of stories about canaries in there. So I quite like that. I like that little.
Okay.
I didn't like it. I was like, get that bloody bird out of there. Another thing that I really liked was when she goes up and she puts her hand to the glass, and then they have a little meet of hands.
Yeah.
Just that she's the first person to whip her oxygen mask off and go,
takes
stop this.
Oxygen mask off. She touches, and that's where she transposes the gift, and that's why she gets the gifts when other people didn't.
Yeah. When he gives her the ink as well, and she is able to write the ink. I don't really know what it is.
She was just great.
Squiddy inky thing. Yeah, and then she can write in their language. Love her.
Ems.
Sorry.
Recommendability score.
Straight up 5 for me.
Straight up 5.
Here.
Why not?
Why not?
So you would just recommend it to everyone?
Yeah, you've got me in the excited mood. I'm just like, everybody watch it. I'm going to tweet about it later.
Helen.
See, I don't know. I've been thinking about it. Ever since I've seen it, what my recommendability was going to be, because I proposed to watch this with the people that I was staying with.
Yeah.
And they'd already seen it, and they didn't want to see it again. They were like, "No, I've seen it," and there was no
required to see it
again, or like adage of "It's amazing, you should watch it." They were just like, "No, that's not the film we want to watch."
Are you still staying with these people? Because if you are, you need to not.
You move out tomorrow, don't you?
That's tomorrow. But that kind of made me think that and I haven't read the reviews, but I know a lot of people didn't like it and really, really, really didn't
that's what I'm
like
saying.
it.
That whole kind of
they felt cheated by it, didn't they?
Yeah.
But I've got a lot from it and thought it was really good, but I don't know.
It sounds like you're going to start racing more like I do.
I know. I'm like, that was the moment I was like, this is what Kobe means now.
Yeah, because I tend to think about who I'm going to recommend to, and if I can't recommend to everyone easily, then I take it down a notch, irrespective of whether I think
that's what I've gone for.
Irrespective of how much I like the film, I think about, well, those people aren't going to like it, and that sounds like a bit like what you're thinking now. It's going through your head.
And also, I'll come on to this, the screen aspect of it as well. I don't know. I feel next go as well. I know I need to see this film again.
Sure.
So I don't know.
Question mark won't make any. Let's try question mark.
Yeah, put it in for now.
Is it going to break the spreadsheet of dreams?
It will do.
Put it in for now, and I'll come back to you.
I'm going to give it 4 point. I'm going to give it 4.3, because I think it's great. I think lots of people should see it. But at one point, I'm taking it down a few notches, Steph, because when people do love sci-fi films, they often do want the explosions. They do want that kind of nonsense. And because there's a lack of that, and it is a slower film.
Slow, yeah.
It will turn people away from it who like sci-fi. But then there'll be the other people like, well, it's a sci-fi film, and you'll be like, no, I don't want to, because it's a
more
sci-fi.
philosophy film, isn't it?
Well, but it's still hard to not put the SF in there without describing it. I think there'll be a lot of people who'll get something from it if you can describe it in a way that isn't. It's sci-fi, but it's not with explosions, and it's got
needs to come with a disclaimer, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So that makes it harder to recommend. So that's why it's a bit lower than I would.
Because it is a 5-star film, but it's not quite.
No, well, we'll see how our system plays out.
Not well now. You've thrown a question mark in there.
There will be a number in there. I just haven't decided
yet. You haven't decided yet. So 4.3 for me.
Repeat viewing.
Repeat viewing score.
So, just out of interest, how many times have you seen it?
I've seen it twice.
Yeah.
And for that reason, I'm giving it 5, because on a second watch, I saw things that I didn't see the first time.
Mm-hmm.
I connected with the intelligence and the metaphors of the film more the second time. So I think if you like that kind of thing, if you like a film that's got little hints and bits and bobs throughout it that kind of connect with different parts of the story, then it's brilliant. You can watch it as many times as you want. I guarantee you'd get something different from it every time.
It's quite interesting when people, even though you've only seen a film a couple of times, you're already giving it a high repeat viewing score, because you know there's going to be more to play with in that kind of sandbox, that kind of canvas. Whereas other high scores are when we've seen a film, like literally seen it a million times when we were younger, and we're going to continue seeing it because it's an easy, fun film to watch, and it's going to be just pure joy.
Like Elf.
Like Elf. Yeah, like Elf. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a Wonderful Life. I saw that at Prince Charles Cinema at the weekend. I'm like,
great film.
I'm going to watch that every.
Had you seen it before?
Oh yeah, I've seen it before. But I was with like 6 people who hadn't seen it before, and I was like,
were they
my fucking God.
I can't wait to watch you watch this.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm going to watch It's a Wonderful Life like time and time. I know exactly what happens, and it's going to be great every single time. But
this is a good one to watch people watch as well.
Stephanie, you need to stop watching people.
Yeah.
My voyeur thing is starting to get a little old.
Ems.
I'm going to give it a 5. I would totally watch this again.
Yes.
That's not saying anything though, because I watched pretty much all the films I've watched again.
Do you have a good memory, or is it just that you?
I don't know why I do it. I do it with all films. I'm like, everyone's like, have you seen that film? I'm like, yeah, but I'll see it again.
As your friend,
I don't
I'm
mind
going
watching
to
it
tell
again.
you that you don't have a good memory, and that
I don't have a good memory.
Several times.
What film do you think you've maybe watched the most?
What film have I watched the most? Oh, that's a really good question.
Is it Elf?
I tell you, it's Lego Movie.
Oh really?
Lego Movie. I went through a stage when I first got Lego Movie of watching it once a month.
Wow.
And that's a recent film.
No, it's quite old now.
No,
the original Lego Movie.
As composed to like.
Yeah, like.
It's not like
a
like a classic.
It's not like an 80s film. Well, when we grew up.
No.
Yeah.
It's not a film from when you were a little kid.
No.
No.
I got it for like my 29th birthday or something. And I was just like, this is freaking awesome.
And you've now watched it over 12 times. Oh,
No, I watched it more than that.
It's giving your age away, sorry.
No, it's okay.
Over 12 times.
I just love it.
How's that giving her age away?
No, good.
Because she said what birthday she got it for, and then she said that she watched it monthly, and then I said
okay.
you watched it over 12 times.
Maths, good maths.
But yeah, so that's...
Did you just maybe say it twice?
I still don't get it.
Well, God,
Doesn't matter.
anyway, so
We'll talk about it later.
Moving on.
Repeat viewing score. Helen.
I'm going to give this a 4 because I want to watch it again. And I only watched... When did I watch it? Sunday. What day are we?
5 days ago.
Yeah, I want to watch it again.
Let it sink in for a bit is my tip, and then watch it again.
Yeah. I'm not going 5 because I will watch it again, but I'm not going to watch it that frequently. I don't think I need to watch it that frequently. But it's each time I watch it, I'll be there almost with a notebook and go, oh yeah, okay, I didn't see that before.
A notebook.
Did you cry at the Notebook?
The film The Notebook.
Yeah.
I've never seen it.
Oh, I thought that's what we just said. Don't worry.
it means
A notebook.
Yeah.
Right. I thought you were like, sorry. I am here, I promise. Did you cry at this film?
I didn't know.
Did anybody else cry at this
No,
film?
I don't cry at films.
No, I was a bit hungover, so maybe I'm...
That's like
I might.
peak
You don't have
crying
to.
time.
You don't have to explain why I didn't cry.
Why didn't you
This
cry?
feels like a film that I would cry at.
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe.
Did you cry at this?
Oh, I blubbed.
Which point?
Quite a few different points.
Okay.
The point where the daughter sadly passes away. The point where she
So
does
right at
the
the
hand
start.
thing.
5 minutes in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the hand thing. The bit where she's on the phone to the guy.
General Shan.
Yeah, that
Saying-
bit got me.
Saying what's my wife's...
How
Dying
intense it
word.
was, and then he was saying that his wife's dying word, and she's on the phone, and it was just the intensity of it all, and I just got a bit like
That was one of my favourite scenes, actually.
So, yeah,
Genuinely.
really good.
yeah.
Yeah.
And he's really emotional in it, and that just really, I was just,
And then he changes his mind.
yes.
I shall not be a dick anymore.
I declare peace and data protection.
Small...
Speaking
sorry.
of crying, I cried at Interstellar.
At what point? When he's
yeah,
pushing
that-
the books out of the Tesseract?
No, the other bit that I'm not going to mention
Okay.
because we can't. But
You can't... So,
That's a different film. That's the kind
there's
of thing.
prior art.
Yeah.
Prior art, and you're crying at sci-fi.
Yeah.
Okay. Small screen score. Stephanie.
I have gone for a 4 because I mean it's not, you would get loads out of it in the cinema, but I didn't think that watching it on my quite small television was
Took away
horrific.
from it, yeah.
I still got a lot of the wide angle shots were still incredible. I do think it would. I've dropped it a point because it would be so much better in the cinema, I think.
3D.
No.
I don't know. I'm not a big 3D
the
fan.
bit that comes the like.
I think it was just like a 3D pebble just in front of you. Yeah, I'm not sure about 3D, not sold on that,
Just
but
hold
big
a pebble.
screen.
Just hold a pebble in front of you, like on a piece of nylon.
Throw
fish
some
fin.
ink in your
It
face.
does look slightly like that really aesthetic looking air freshener,
Oh yeah.
doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it does.
I'll show you it. I'll
Exactly what you
Google it in a
mean.
minute. I'll show you the air freshener I'm on about.
Yeah.
I think, like I say, it's a black contact lens.
Yeah,
like,
it is.
hanging there. So, Ems,
Yeah.
small screen score.
Yeah, I'm going to go for a 4. Yeah. I enjoyed it on the TV. Would I have enjoyed it more at the cinema? Don't know.
Wouldn't watch it on your phone though.
Wouldn't watch it on my phone.
Helen.
I'm going to give it a 3. Oh, I wished I'd seen this at the cinema. I did feel as though had I seen it in the cinema, I probably would have cried, and it just would have been more
Had you
of
not been
a...
hungover?
Yeah.
Had you been fully
If
sober?
I could time travel, I
Yeah.
would go back.
If you're given the gift of the gifts.
The gift of being able to see this moment now, and
Yeah.
I would have gone, you will make it to that last screening which you thought about and then you didn't go. So yeah, yeah, 3.
A begrudged 3.
I know.
I'm
And I
giving
did see it on the big TV of my friend, which is the biggest screen I
In
could
the
find.
world.
But next time I might do smaller screen but with headphones.
Smaller
And-
screen with headphones.
Yeah, because the score's incredible.
Yeah, and
I'm
maybe
just downloading the score now on Spotify as we're speaking, by the way.
You actually?
My journey home.
and I'd want to watch it on my own, I think. I need to have I think I need to create the conditions
Because I think
for the experience that I want.
that
from
you
it.
want. Because sometimes I think with the recommendability, because I watch a lot of the films with my wife, and sometimes I just think she's not going to enjoy this, and that means I'm not going to enjoy it because I can tell that she's not enjoying it.
She's going to be sitting there looking at you. Why are we watching this?
Exactly. So, but I think she would have really enjoyed Arrival. But sometimes I think, yeah, I would enjoy this, but I need to be like by myself, which means that I can't recommend this to everyone, or I need to be with people who I know are going to enjoy it properly. I'm going to go for 2.68. I think it's cool. I watched it in the cinema. I thought it was really cool. I don't think it needs visually that much, but I think I just when I was at the cinema, I was just like, holy fuck. So there's something there. But I can't really explain it. I don't think it's really a visual thing, but it was just like a...
Immersive.
Yeah, immersiveness, I think. Engagement score, Stephanie.
I've gone 5. Didn't even want a wee break.
How long's the film?
It is 1 hour 56 minutes.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's a palatable amount of time.
Yeah.
Most of Netflix featured films at the moment seem to be well over 2 hours, and I'm not here for that.
No.
Not interested. Ems?
5 for me. It were darn good.
We're at.
Oh yeah, 5. I mean, you can't not be engaged in it.
No, you have to... Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, straight 5s for engagement score. So we need to go back to your recommendability score.
A 4.5.
All this time for a 4.5.
What? That's... I was going to give it a 4, but I think that's too low for what it is.
Sure.
Yeah.
So
and that 0.5 is for
people. For the people.
For people.
And that gives us an overall score of 4.37.
It's pretty
decent,
high.
which is decent. We always reach out to the guys on Twitter. Sometimes they don't respond, but this time they did in their droves. And we asked them, and we say, we're reviewing, in this case, Arrival with the Mighty Foof. Have you seen it? Tell us your thoughts for an on-air shout-out on Flixwatcher. Give us your 5-star review, 5-star rating, a short review, and retweet, which a lot of people did do. Stephanie, you chose the film. Can you give us the first review from these guys at the top?
Yeah, this is at Retro Ramble blog. One of the best sci-fi films of the past 20 years. Thought-provoking, unique, and totes emotion. Shut up, you were crying.
I wasn't
That's
crying.
almost like they were listening to what I said earlier, and I was like, no, did not cry.
I think I responded to that like, don't worry. I'm totally with you on this
Don't
one.
worry, you did cry.
And
Ems? Sorry?
we should point out that was 5 speech emojis.
Bubbles, yeah.
I mean, I'm particularly impressed with the emoji.
The emoji game that people
Yeah.
have
It's the
made.
emoji rating system.
Yeah, people are getting
Oh
really
my
good
gosh,
at it.
look at that one.
So,
that's a
well,
good one.
go to the second
Sorry.
one.
Yeah, got really excited. It's at Derm Hurl said, a 5-star from me, despite remaining unconvinced by Jeremy Renner's overacting and regurgitation of dialogue. The philosophy and linguistics are front and centre, which really ticks all my boxes. Very tense in a good way.
I feel like we might get on.
Yeah, I feel like you two would get
Yeah,
on.
let's
You
talk about
and Dermo
linguistics
Hurley.
together.
Ellen?
How am I going to pronounce that word in there?
It's Scheitgeist.
No, not that one.
Oh.
Just start it and see what happens.
So yes, this is a Scheitgeist pod. Contact meets the call of Cthulhu. What's that reference to?
Must
I
be a
don't know.
film.
Don't know. A visual and oral feast in an arresting performance from Adams, and then he's gone for 5 little alien spaceships.
5 UFOs. Steph, Annie, do you want to...
So, do you want to expand that one?
There's nothing else there.
Oh,
Okay, that's not a review, so I'm gonna.
It is. There's
It is.
clearly 5 stars.
Five
Oh, I see. Sorry.
stars.
So the Cinemile says, "Wait, Arrival is on Netflix. 5 stars. How can that be a review? They've not watched it."
There is comments. There's like 4.
There's comments, but they don't relate to the review of the
Oh,
film. They're
okay.
just like people saying, yes, it's on Netflix.
Yeah, no, that's also me.
Yourself saying,
That's
Yeah.
me.
"What was I saying earlier about you having a really bad memory?"
And Ems?
At IWYTWT, I want you to watch this. 5 out of 5. I'm still upset Amy Adams didn't get an Oscar nom out of this role. So are we.
Yeah, with you.
Yeah, should have replaced the Stone. Emma Stone.
Oh, yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
that took me such a long time. I was like, the Stone?
The Stone.
Got it.
from previous guests on the show,
Yeah.
Beyond the Box Set, We just did an episode on this. Fantastic movie. One of the smartest modern sci-fis and sure to be regarded as a classic in the future. Just don't watch it with Dutch subtitles like we did. It really ruins the ending. 5-star. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend any subtitles other than the language you speak.
And the last two guys?
So at Amanda's Pick Show, 5 stars, sci-fi at its best. This was my number 3 film of 2016. And I want you to watch this. Amy Adams deserves an Oscar nom that year.
And then at Death by Film Pod, 5 stars, flawless and beautiful. Not much else to say about it.
Yeah, so it was
really
5
lot of
stars
love,
across the board, yeah.
That's the
Apart
most...
from Jeremy Renner.
I mean, it's just Jeremy Renner, isn't he?
So it's this between this and 7 for the biggest audience reaction. So thank you so much, Stephanie, for choosing the film.
Yes, thank you.
And your first time watching it, Helen?
I know. Yeah.
Won't be your last.
It won't.
It won't be. Fantastic. Can you sign off, guys, by letting us know where everyone who's listening can find you online?
So you can find us at themightyfoof.com or on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter at themightyfoof.
Fantastic.
Brilliant.
Cheers, guys.
Thanks for coming on.
Thanks
for
very
having
much.
us.
Thanks.
Bye.
Cheers, guys. You were just listening to the latest episode of Flixwatcher podcast. Thank you to Brendan Russell for his sublime editing skills, Mighty People for the tunes you can hear right now. Please do come to iTunes and find us, like, subscribe, share with your friends. Find us on Twitter at FlixWatcherPod and our website, flixwatcher.tv.